You're starting to feel good about your silver and gold until this morning. I have a special report for you regarding the November jobs numbers. Gold and silver are getting clobbered, but what is the reason for optimism? I have 4 key things, very interesting points to talk about, specifically related to the jobs number and the overall economy, that when we look at the big picture, when we look at the forest through the trees, the future still looks very bright for the price of silver, for the price of gold, for the price of the precious metal mining stocks. Let's dig in right now. I bet you're the type person who likes to get the bad stuff out of the way first, so we're going to do that. Economists were expecting 200,000 jobs to be created in November. The number supposedly came in at 263,000 jobs. The unemployment rate was steady at 3.7%. Gold and silver had been on a good run for like the last, 2-3 weeks? Well, they are both getting clobbered this morning because this number supposedly will help reinforce the Fed's campaign to continue to raise interest rates. Now, enough of that. Let's talk about 4 interesting key points that we need to consider when we look at the big picture of what's going on in these jobs numbers. Number 1, do we even trust these numbers? They come out of the BLS, Bureau of Labor and Statistics. A lot of people on the street, on Wall Street, supposedly refer to that as the Bureau of Lies and Statistics. I like to say, let's just drop the L and call it the BS. So we have to be suspect of these numbers. They've proven themselves inaccurate many, many times in the past. Number 2, let's be real. Employment numbers are a lagging indicator. Just because employment numbers were good in November doesn't mean the economy was strong. We're hearing about layoffs everywhere. Big tech companies, manufacturing companies, everywhere. It's a lagging indicator. That means it takes 3 to 6 months for a slowdown in the economy to show up in the jobs numbers. Even the official mainstream economists bring this point up. So just because we had a great number doesn't mean that the economy isn't beginning to crumble right beneath your very feet right now. Number 3, do you remember the toilet paper shortage? You survived that. And guess what? We're going to survive this as well. A little bump in the road with precious metals isn't going to kill us. I'll be here for you through it all. You know I honor the fact that you, right now, have chosen to join me here in the basement. You matter. You're important. You're special. If you get some value, please subscribe, leave a comment, turn on the bell notifications. Now back to the toilet paper. I like to think about the situation in the employment sector kind of like the toilet paper shortage, right? We also had, over the last 2 years, a major shortage of employees. It was headline news, all these open jobs, all this. I think that what's happening now, we are still filling the slack that occurred over the last 2 years. Companies are still just maybe hiring if they can because they were traumatized by the last 2 years of not being able to find any employees. I did read that in this report, a lot of the jobs that were created were in the healthcare and education sectors. Those were 2 sectors that had particularly acute shortages of workers. That won't continue. I'm telling you, as we move out into the future, even Bank of America says that in the first quarter of next year, that's like 30 days away, we could start to expect job losses. They were calling for, and it sounds preposterous, 175,000 job losses per month. So things can turn quickly. And don't forget, once again, it's a lagging indicator. And finally, let's not forget what our old friend Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve said just 2 days ago. He signaled that they would be slowing down the rate increases. He wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have sent that dovish signal. Trust me, these guys, they do everything in a very calculated manner. He wouldn't have done that if he didn't know that things were starting to change in the economy. So the way I look at it, I'm curious how you feel about this, but I bet this was the last strong jobs report that we're going to have for a long, long time. I don't know that this 175,000 job losses is going to show up in January. I would be shocked if that were the case, but I feel like the pendulum is starting to, or the fulcrum, or whatever the heck you want to call the darn thing, the balance is starting to move. Even in employment, as we move into next year, we're going to see weaker numbers. That won't give the Fed strong ground to continue with these strong monetary policy decisions that will be good for the price of silver and gold, and that will be happy days for me and you. I'll be here for you through it all. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you, yes, you, the one and only you, next time.